Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Skillcraft. This episode is going to be quite a big one. I have plans for episode 10, and for that, I kind of want this city done. I know, insane. So this is what we've got so far. We've got 5 buildings, and that's took, 2 episodes? So I want to do another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And a little thing here, all in one episode. Oh, and also I've added another thing to my plate because I couldn't make it easy on myself, and that is this little mark out here, which I've started digging a big hole. Now, you might be able to know what this is, you might be able to tell, but I think I'll leave it a little bit secret for now. We'll work on that at some point later in the video. So, right away, I guess we just need to decide where to start. Oh, also, I have a beacon. I bought a beacon from Skilltree for, I think, 15 diamonds, and I had 16. So, it really was perfect. He put me down to like 1 diamond. But it meant I was able to dig out that area over there and also help Skilltree dig out this area because this building Skilltree has plans for. I've already kind of sold it. So, I mean, I haven't got payment for it, but it's basically sold. I just need to build it, and then we'll get the payment for it. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start with this side, I think, just because then we have like a full row, and we can sort of get like a nice view from here, and that'll hopefully inspire me to finish the rest of it. And I think for the first few, we'll do a little bit of a walkthrough, and then we'll probably speed through some of these other ones, just to, you know, so it doesn't get a little bit too boring for you. But enough rambling, I'm going to prepare this area and I can explain what this random flat bit is. Okay, I have some materials. I have also extended this area a little bit. So, first things first, now we can start laying a pattern on the floor with these white and orange terracotta. We'll start with the white because it's the most easily identifiable. And you might be gathering what I'm making by looking at these markings. And that's all the white done. Let's fill in the orange and then we'll texture it with the acacia that I brought. Well, I didn't have enough orange terracotta, so hopefully I can get some back by texture. So you might be able to guess by now, it is a basketball court. And we're just going to block it in with these iron bars just because, well, it's a basketball court. We can't have basketballs flying off. And I think it's 3 tall. That seems about right. You know, you're throwing balls up into the sky. You'd want it quite tall. Do I have any more? Yes. Okay, let's do. Let's block it all the way, and then I'll cut the door in. And then I've put these copper trapdoors at the top, and there we go. That just marks it off a little bit, and it adds a little bit of color, which looks quite nice and makes it feel a little bit old and rusted. So now I want a wall. We need to wall off this ugly dirt that's on display. And there we go, we've got some hoops in. And I think they're alright designs. They work well, I suppose. I wish there was a little bit better, but the hoppers work quite nicely. And the colours, you get the idea. So now we're just going to add a little bit of graffiti to this back wall. And then we can put this building in, and that way we have a wall there that will sort of complete the look. And here you go, just some nice graffiti, just a random, like, color gradient of just random blocks and noise. I think it looks quite good. We've also just added a bunch of leaves and lichen just to kind of make the back blend in a little bit better. Once this project is done, I'm going to go like all across all of the backs of all the builds and just add a load of nonsense just so they look at least a little bit considered. But now let's move on to this build and let's cover up this beacon. So I've got the basic shape of the first floor down, and it's used a lot of my terracotta, but so kind of regretting that a little bit. But this area is looking a little bit nicer now that it's actually fully. And I've not really textured this front bit because we've got a little bit of detailing to do. Are you kidding? Where was a creeper? Oh, at least it didn't blow anything up. It blew up 1 slab? What? Okay. Well, I've just had a brilliant idea. What if the reason there are potholes is not because of the cars, but it's because of the creepers? Yeah, that feels a lot more Minecrafty because there are no cars in this city, but there are certainly creepers because I suck at lighting things up. Anyway, back to this. And there we go. The bottom floor is detailed. Now, this building might just be my favorite in the entire city. It's just a nice corner building, and I really like the color palette and just the way it all come together. So let's build the second floor, but first I want to show you the inside because there's a giant hole. This beacon kind of in the way, so I thought I'd just leave a big hole here and we'll figure it out. No one's actually really going to see this corner, plus there's going to be a building here, so it's going to be a bit of an awkward like cutout. So I think we'll figure that out another time, probably off camera, because I'll move that beacon. So for now, let's move on to the second floor. And there we go. This has to be my favorite build out of everything and everything to come. It's just awesome. I love it. I love the location on the corner. I love the colors. I love the detail. It's just really fun. But now, let's close that door. We have to work on this one. Now this one, Skillcraft has already claimed, which is kind of why I'm rushing to sort of get this done. I want it to be done for him because it has been a long time. You know, this has taken quite a long time, this city. And this is prime location right at the end of the road. So let's get it built. And there we go. I just went ahead and did it. This one is quite simple. It's end building, but it looks, I think, quite nice. Although there is one little change I want to make. I'm going to move this door. This lamppost is right in the way of the door, and it makes sense to have the door in the middle because I think Skilltree wants to turn this into a bank, so it looks a little bit cooler in the middle. Anyway, look, gives it a bit more importance, which a bank would have. So let's just tear this down and we'll move that. Now, also this back area, I mean, it's just a facade. This is another Hollywood house. There is no back, it is just the front. But I kind of want to leave this open for Skilltree because I don't know. I mean, it's a bank. It's going to be redstone, I think, and that's probably quite complicated. But I don't know how much space he wants. So for now, I've left it open, and I will see how much space he wants because I mean, it's not super wide, so, and we've got all this space. We might as well use it if he wants to, obviously. So for now, I'm going to leave that open. But let's move this door, and then I can move on to some of the other sections. Yeah, that's looking a lot nicer. Makes just a lot more sense. Now I want to move to this building over here. Let's jump right back, and we'll work our way along. And there we go. We've got a stone building in here. I think this looks pretty good. It's a little bit basic and boring, but fills up a gap, and in the grand scheme of things, it looks pretty good. Now, this one does have quite a nice alleyway, but I say nice, a nice Minecraft build. It's not actually that nice. It's very dirty and grimy. But I'm going to hold off on doing that before I get this building in, because then we can do some fancy stuff with like linking them across the buildings. So let's get this building in, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it and get it in because it's just another building. We've done these before. You'll see the final product. That's the interesting bit. So we have a brand new building in here and an alleyway which is fully decorated. I did record this, but it didn't turn out, so I'm just going to show you the end product. No point wasting time on audioless footage. Yay. So this might actually be one of my favorite buildings in the entire place. I just really like the colors, and the shape of the roof is quite interesting. When doing this, I tried to just add a lot of like things going across the top to give it just a little bit more interest and quite a dense feel. The bottom is the usual sort of decoration we have, and then there's a slight wall design this side that just leads down to the rest. It's pretty grimy, dirty, and that's what we like. This one does not have an inside, of course, because I'm already doing loads this episode. I don't need to do interiors as well. We will sort that out another time. So during that, you may have noticed this odd shape out over there. Now, I've actually built something because we've added quite a few people to this server. So people have actually been playing, and we kind of needed a rule board on the server, like we had last season. But this time I got a little bit carried away with the design. Um, yeah, that's an example of the house. But I've made a sword, and I really love this design. It's so cool. I think it looks awesome. I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring recently, so this was kind of the inspiration for that. I thought, why not make a big, excessively large sword just stabbed into the ground? And we have the rules on here, they're quite basic. But yeah, I thought I should mention that in case, yeah, you were confused by the odd shape. And to be honest, I really do want to mention it because look how cool it looks. And I even textured the back. So let's have a look at some of these houses actually. This is like a little jungle treehouse thing. It's a work in progress, I will say that. I'm not really sure what this is. Just a spiral staircase that is very precarious and that leads to nowhere. I'm sure this will lead somewhere, I guess. I don't know. It's quite tall actually. There we go. It leads. You get quite a nice view from the top actually. And down here is another base that is close by. There are a few others dotted around, but they're quite far away. This is just a nice little birch house with a lovely wheat field out the side here. But we've got few buildings left to do, so let's get on with it because, yeah, we need to get them done. So this building here, I have actually now sold it, and it now has walls and a roof. No floor though. But it's basically complete, which is awesome. And I've sold it to Skilltree for 32 diamonds. So we're starting to make a little bit of profit on this city. Obviously, I need to finish it off, and then we can put the rest up for sale. But that's good. We're starting to get a little bit of money. This project's actually starting to pay off a little bit. All these buildings and all this work put into this. It's probably not going to be worth the final price if I'm honest, but it's actually a super fun project anyway, so I'm completely fine with that. Well, I now have two brand new buildings, and I've got two, so this is a big update because I didn't record any of it because it was at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I was not in the right mindset to be recording at that time. So, but I did get a lot of progress done, so that was good. So let's just show you them. So here they are, just some wooden buildings. I used a lot of wood. I left that door open. They have no insides. They do have a back and sides, although it's not exactly that impressive. This one is very, very blank, and I will fix a lot of this, like awkward stuff, like the insides and backs. But I'm not doing that this episode because I have too much to do. But we're getting very, very close to the end. We have this little section to do, which I actually need to figure it out. I think I'm going to do some kind of park type thing, but I have no idea what that's going to look like. So we'll have to figure that out. And then I've got my little project over here, which I want to do now because it's going to take a little bit more time, and I want to get this done. So this is the subway. I built one of these in season 1 of Skillcraft, but we never really ended up using it. I mean, we sort of linked it, but it didn't really happen all that much. And this one is a lot bigger and a lot cooler, in my opinion. There is also already a tunnel. So I started this, like I dug out the hole, and then Skilltree built one. And then I was intending to do this, but then we built a tunnel first. So hilariously, Skilltree's is completed before mine's really been started. So that ended up being a little bit backwards. But we're going to finish it now so we can link up this tunnel. And yeah, it should be looking pretty good. I'm also actually really happy with that tunnel design. Me and Skilltree came up with this. And yeah, I think it's awesome. It also matches the powered rails, which I quite like. Yeah, very simple, very repetitive. But in terms of a possible, like a railway network, there are connections. So this is obviously taking up one of the tunnels. So we could have cars going off in those directions. But at the moment, it is just me and Skilltrees. And my future plans will say is probably not going to have a train station purely because it just wouldn't really fit the style. So we'll have to see if any more get added. But if not, then it's totally fine. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do with this is the outside. It needs an entrance. So I'm going to go with a typical kind of subway entrance that I did last season, actually. This is very similar to the last season build, except I'm sort of improving it a little bit. Because personally, I think I can do it better than I did last season. So all that talk about it being a better design, I'm pretty sure that this entrance is like exactly the same as the one I built. It's very similar at least, but it's simple and there's not really much you can do to improve that kind of style. So let's move to the bottom where it's hopefully going to get a little bit more interesting. Thankfully, this build is made out of a lot of stone, so I can use all this backlog of stuff that I have from actually mining it out. So that's very handy. So this is just the sort of basic shape in the entrance. That's the word. Very simple. That's not interesting. Now I'm gonna do the long bit. That's gonna give it a little bit of shape. And we have one side in. This is the basic shape. It's just a nice curve. We still got a lot to do. I also somehow miscounted. So I dug out an extra section. Don't know how I did that, but we'll have to fill that in, I guess, in a bit. So I guess let's just duplicate it to this side. I'm starting to think maybe I went a little bit heavy on the stone. Hopefully this next step, which is going to add a little bit of this yellow terracotta, will add a little bit of color to it. Every subway needs a yellow line to mark the edge of the platform. So there we go. That hopefully adds a little bit of color. Feeling a little bit nicer. Let's get the rest of this floor in and some beams in the middle to give it a little bit of support. Okay, we have completed the floor. I am, however, a little bit worried that it's a little bit too dark. If I remove these lanterns that are currently lighting it up, it's very dark. On my creative world, I only built half of this, so I didn't actually get to see it when it was dark. And yeah, I was hoping that this would be enough. And to be honest, I thought these were brighter. So we're gonna have to kind of figure out a solution for that. But in the meantime, while I think that over, I'm just gonna like finish some of these walls and get it sort of looking completed. So I've filled everything in. This area is looking good. I've linked up this tunnel over here, just continuing the design and just matching it up. It wasn't too bad. It's a little bit, I would have liked it to go one more block because then could have had this archway here. But I think the solution I come up with is fine. It just sort of ends, I guess. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's ladders on either side so you can actually get back out. And I've got these pretty cool billboard designs, actually. I think they're alright. They provide light, which is kind of what I wanted. And I don't know, they feel very billboardy. I don't know. I think they work fine. The yellow one, I think, works a little bit better. But anyway, we've got room to expand these ways. And there's one over there. But there's one final thing I want to do to this area to really bring it all together, and that is texturing. I have not textured this thing at all, so we're going to add some cracked bricks, make it feel a little bit more dingy and a little less bland. And there we go, a little bit of texturing. It probably doesn't look all that much different, but if you look closer, you can see some of this cobblestone mixed in, a bit of andesite in the walls. Very simple stuff. I also added this little minecart thing. I don't know. This is where I'm gonna store the minecarts because I needed somewhere to put them. It looks vaguely normal, like it looks kind of in place. I don't know. It is there. It kind of needs to be there. I didn't really know how to make that blended. Oh, I also textured these stairs, and there we go. That is this building. Why is it always these berry bushes? I've had enough of these. They're at my starter base, and now they're here. They just haunt me everywhere I go. But evil berry bushes aside, we have one last thing to do, and that's this little back corner. That's it. This is all we got left to do, and then this entire city is completely finished. So this back corner should actually be pretty simple. What I want to do is build this wall up, bring it back and across here, and fill this stone in with grass, and then put a few trees and foliage and maybe a little path, maybe a little bench. Just sort of simple stuff like this. Just turn it into a bit of a public park. Okay, resources collected. We just got some basic kind of foliage. I forgot grass. Ah, okay. No, I'm just gonna like just pinch a bit off of here. That'll do. So first things first, I'm going to make the wall, and I'm not gonna go too ugly with it. I do want this path to look somewhat nice, so I'm not gonna put any graffiti on it. Just some, and I'll probably cover it up, like a lot of it with leaves, so we see even less of the brick pattern. There we go. We've got a nice wall in. I'm There we go. We've got a nice wall in. I'm next going to do the path because I feel like it's going to be quite good to have an area marked out. I wasn't sure what I want to do for the path, so I've got this kind of mix. I didn't want it to be too, like, I don't know, too dark, I guess, so I'll try to go lighter, but I'm not sure the podzol is going to really work. But we'll see. That's why I kind of got the dripstone, but also it's a bit of an odd thing to have as a path. Unless you're mixing it with like mud, which I didn't really want to do. I don't know. So we'll see how it turns out. You know what? I actually decided to mix all three of them, and I think it looks pretty good. Yeah. I think it's fine. So let's add a little bit of like grass and maybe some moss and some leaves here. Okay, there we go. I've thrown a load of nature at it. It's fine. To be honest, yeah, it's fine. I'm not super happy with it, but I think it'll do. This is just a tiny little area. I think what's going to really bring it together is a big tree in the middle here. And I think if I build like the trunk of the tree here, and I can sort of have it overhang, and we can have like a tree swing kind of thing. So the only issue is I have to make a custom tree. Now, I'm not great at those, particularly oak tree kind of vibe. I'm alright at the spruce tree kind of thing, but oak trees I find a little bit difficult, and I don't know why. It's just, they never look good. But this area definitely needs an oak tree. So, guess I'll have to figure that out. Oh my god, guys, I have built a tree, and it looks not awful. Here it is. It's kind of helped out by the fact this big building is in the way and you can't really see it. It's very long, I'll say that. The trunk is really nice. I love this, how that turned out. But the actual leaves, yeah, the leaves are the hard bit. And from this angle, it looks pretty good. It does the job. That's kind of it, to be honest. It does the job. It works. And I've added a little picnic basket instead of the rope swing kind of idea. It just didn't really work with the shape of the tree I made, and I wasn't going to change the tree. So we got a little picnic blanket instead. I think it works. It adds that kind of focal point that this area needed to distract away from the tree, the bad tree, and the kind of awful leaves around the edge. And yeah, it's not my best work. Let's look at the buildings. This area is finished, and I can fly through it, and it's all done, and we can look at it, and it looks beautiful. There are a lot of really cool angles to this place. I'm just going to end up walking up and down, just admiring the buildings. Yes, I am that self-absorbed, but most of all, I'm kind of just happy it's done so we can start selling some buildings and move on to some better projects. Well, better projects, some new projects, I'll say that. Whether they're actually better, I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But I'll be announcing what those plans are next episode, because next episode is going to be a little bit different. Since it's episode 10, I'm going to be doing a world tour. It's good to do a little bit of a world so far kind of recap. That's why I kind of rushed to get this done in this episode. But anyway, I've been jabbering on too long. It is time to go. I've run out of time. I've spent so long on this. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.